Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, a very warm welcome and welcome back CTKS family. Here you'll learn how to become fearless in financial markets. To assist you to become more of a financial and emotional blessing to yourself and those you love. I'd like to give you a really special treat in this video. I'm going to take you inside the CTKS method service. I'm going to show you some of the things that we do, and they're pretty cool. In fact, they're so cool you might think they're a little bit spooky. As the levels for Bitcoin have been released inside the service, I can share those immediate levels with you in the public video. We're going to see what the new year has brought for Bitcoin. Has that resistance subsided? Are we near support or something else? If you like the content, please subscribe to the channel and smash that like button. All indicators that I use come from the CTKS Method service at ctksmethod.org. Let's run the numbers. It's really easy to overcomplicate things, but when we look at Bitcoin, or indeed when we look at any chart, the first thing we have to understand, how long has this chart been operating for? With Bitcoin, it's been operating for in excess of 5,200 days. That means if we just zoom in here and we just only mark up price action in this recent indicative price area, we're missing a whole lot of things that we need to know about. The question people always have, where is Bitcoin, or where is any specific chart going next? Here we're looking on the weekly basis, and you can see that just up here. On the weekly basis, the question is, where are we going to? Are we heading into resistance? Are we at support? Are we going to rocket up? Those answers all depend on structural support and resistance levels. Going down to lower timeframes is a very, very good concept. Lower timeframes allow us to detect when trends are changing far more readily and far more quickly. This is something that you want to always focus on. Starting on the higher timeframes and moving your way backwards is a very powerful way to do things. When we look at price action like this, it's often very difficult to know where are the support and resistance levels inside the specific chart. Is the chart weakening or strengthening? What exactly is this chart doing in relationship to structural support and structural resistance? Fortunately, inside the service, the application of Level 1 and Level 2 standard certification has been applied to Bitcoin. And what we can see here right at the current time, Bitcoin is trading at $45,012. There's structural overhead resistance around this 45,412 mark. There's lower structural support around the 44,000. And up above, we can see that we're getting into structural resistance. What typically happens when you look at price? Price can move quickly if there's no structural resistance, and it can bolt up very fast. But if you have a lot of structural resistance levels, that creates sell pressure, which pushes the price down. In many ways, price is a very simple animal. It gets to structural resistance. If it turns it to structural support, it's going up to the next area. If it fails to turn it into structural support, it's going down. Of course, price is always moving in a wave, but we can see we've got a lot of structural overhead resistance panning out from about 46,217 and above. This is something to keep in mind when you're looking at Bitcoin currently. The two areas that you want to keep your eyes on are the middle level, which is 45,411. Of course, the upper resistance level playing out at around 46,220, and the lower level playing at around 44,000. This brings us to a really important question. And this is the spooky part that I was referring to earlier in the video. That is, when we're at the start of November, could we draw out a normalized price path to detect where Bitcoin could end up? What about at the start of December? Could we draw out a normalized price path to determine where Bitcoin could have ended at the end of December? And right now, can we draw out a normalized price path to determine where Bitcoin could end on the 1st of February? The answer is yes, yes, and yes. But first, I need to give you a little bit of background information. The CTKS method is the world's most powerful buy and sell level detection system. It requires 2 levels of standard certification, level 1 and level 2. I'm just going to pop in quickly to level 2 and show you something that I'll reveal for the first time in public. Inside level 2 standard certification, there's such a thing as CTKS method paths. These allow us to get synchronized in with the market and do 3-dimensional risk management. You might notice there's also a lot of other sections in here. This is how we draw out the SLs. But you cannot do level 2 before level 1 because you won't know what you're doing. I'm going to show you the CTKS method paths on 2 of the most important things that we look at pretty much each day inside crypto. One is the Tier 1 chart, Bitcoin. The other is another Tier 1 chart, total crypto market cap. CTKS method paths are drawn up at the start of each month, doing an upward price progression, a consolidation progression, and a negative price progression. Here we're looking at Bitcoin. The way these particular paths are drawn are from a knowledge of CTKS structure. They are drawn at the very start of the month, and they are drawn out to predict the ending price of the month. Here you can see in November, just a couple of days after that, in fact 3 days after that, the November target was hit of 40,498. How about the last month, because we're only 1 day into the new year? The target was 44,768. That got hit 1 day later. This is kind of the spooky side. If somebody said, can you predict where Bitcoin will be in 30 days? That could be rather tricky, but we've got an incredibly good record of doing so over so many different price charts. And that's only available inside the service. I just wanted to share it with you. Crypto price action is really difficult to estimate because it's exponential. That's why the CTKS method was invented, to constrain exponential price action so that we could get X-ray vision inside the markets. These particular lines that are drawn, and this one is drawn over total crypto market cap, they are not random lines at all. They account for structural resistance and structural support inside the market. When we look back to the end of November, what we can see is the estimate of $1.484 trillion was hit 3 days later. But you can see this normalized price path predicted the manner in which total crypto market cap could move exceptionally well. The power of price paths is that you understand where price is not going. In November, it didn't do the consolidation path or the negative path. That's very important information. And when you learn the standards, you can do these price paths for yourself. For the end of December, we saw the normalized price path literally get hit just 1 day out. But does it work on other things? For example, the DXY. The DXY is incredibly important to understand. The answer to that question, yes it does. And you might notice some really jagged lines here. This is because we're looking at the daily basis right now. So you can see how many days until targets are hit. For example, the DXY target for the end of December was missed by 1 day, and we can see we missed it by a couple of days at the end of November. Typically, we look at this on a lower time basis, say the 2 hour. That's what causes these really jagged lines. I'm sure you would be interested in knowing why they are there. One thing that you can see, the DXY followed the normalized negative price path. These price paths are very, very valuable to know and to understand. And we can see when it comes to the DXY, it missed its just end of month target by 1 day. We've just gone through a couple of the Tier 1 charts, the DXY, Bitcoin, and total crypto market cap. Having the understanding as to where price could move from an upward dimension, a consolidation dimension, and a negative dimension is incredibly valuable information. The only way those structural paths are drawn is through CTKS structure. To draw up those paths, you'll need Level 1 Standard Certification, which covers all the foundations that you need to know and to understand. Then you apply those foundations through Level 2 Standard Certification. This is where the rubber hits the road. Everything comes together in Level 2 Standard Certification, and especially those CTKS method paths that I've just shown you. Each and every month, CTKS method paths are drawn out across these 27 different charts. This is incredibly powerful knowledge, and with this knowledge you can mark up your own CTKS method paths on whatever you're trading or investing in. And if you're trading and investing, you really need to know where price can go. Also, another thing to keep in mind, when you draw your three-dimensional price paths, always make sure that you draw them at the start of the month and you do not change them under any circumstances. Just leave them as they are. As a community, we have a learning mindset, and that's what's important. Do better the next time. I talk a lot about inside the daily videos about the role of synchronization. You must know what to do if the price goes down, goes neutral, or goes up. We know we control the trade or investment, but the market controls the return. CTKS method paths are all about understanding the boundaries of normalized price action. That is, where price is likely to go in the majority of circumstances. Equipped with this knowledge, you will find that your synchronization score will absolutely soar. And when we combine it with different market rules such as synchronization profits, it is very, very powerful. I hope you like this little window into the CTKS method service. The service is not just about that. If you go into the indicators to the invite only, you'll get all of these scripts which you can overlay on your charts to see where the SLs are in real time. Of course, the projected levels for the next month are done inside the service as well. Just to let the service members know, the CTKS method indicator for TradingView for the DXY for Bitcoin and total crypto market cap has been released. The video revealing the price paths will come out later. We're doing an express release service in this month because there's so much work to mark these up. And for people who know Level 1 and Level 2 standard certification, you know exactly what I mean. Have a great day or night ahead, my friends, and Kate and I look forward to catching up with you again tomorrow. Bye for now.